episode 10. Last episode was called Brainwave, and this one is Brainwave Junior, which means I was a little ahead of schedule on last week's thumbnail. So it starts with they gave us a little backstory with Pat and Barbara, and which was weird because Pat basically, like in an earlier episode, he told us the entire situation of how him and Barbara met. So I didn't know why we actually needed to see it. But then, as the episode played out, I guess I saw like the symbolism. When the episode ended last week, Barbara had just she saw the glowing staff and she saw Courtney and Pat talking to each other. So Barbara confronts both of them, and Pat's trying to tell her, the situation and trying to tell her what's going on because he was just like, I want to tell the truth. Courtney tried to lie, and then when Pat was just like, no, Courtney, we're not lying to your mother about this, then she was just like, all right, fine. She was like, your boss Jordan killed my dad. My dad was Starman. And Barbara's just like, not here. Like, she didn't act like she was calmer than I thought she would be, but she was still like, nah, that's some bull. And then she told Courtney, like I said, she's like, your dad's not Starman. And she was like, yes, he is, Mom. And then, so then she got mad and she actually, like, she put her foot down and she told Courtney to go to her room. So she's talking to Pat, and then now Pat is like, Pat's trying to like explain the situation and smooth it over to her. He tells her the whole thing about, him being with the JSA and, the Injustice Society, and how like her boss is the leader of the Injustice Society. So then now Barbara gets mad at him. And she's just like, yo, you put my daughter in danger. And he was just like, I kind of didn't. And then she goes into our marriage was a lie. And I'm just like, oh God, this ain't got nothing. So, they go back and forth. And then Barbara hits him with the tip. Then she asked him, she was just like, oh, when you said that Courtney was in a car accident, was that a lie? And he was just like, yeah, that was a lie. And then she hits him with the cliche, I want you out, Pat, get out of the house. And I'm just like, oh God. I mean, first of all, like, Pat probably paying mortgage on that house. Like, if Pat's paying for that house, I'm like, you kiss my ass. I ain't going nowhere. If anything, like, I sleep. Like, if you got a problem that bad, then you sleep on the couch and I'll go upstairs. But Pat left. It's just like, this is off to a bad start. So Pat left. His son went with him. They went to the garage and they slept in the garage overnight. The next day, Barbara tells Courtney, she's like, pack your shit. We're leaving Blue Valley, because she was just like, first of all, she was just like, I don't know who's lying, who's telling the truth. And if what Pat's saying is true about, like, this evil organization and all this other stuff, she was just like, I don't want you nowhere near it, especially if you're going out in a star-spangled outfit with a glowing stick. Barbara's whole thing was like, yo, I'm out. Like, she was like, I don't even want to know what's going on. She's like, I'm just going to leave. So she told Courtney, she was like, yo, pack your ish. And then when I get back, she's like, I'm about to go to work and resign. And after I pack my stuff from work, she was like, you and me gonna dip. So Courtney, instead, she runs to the garage. She goes and talks to Pat. She tells Pat, she's like, yo, my mom's trying to leave. Pat's just like, oh, snap. And then he tries to confront Barbara, to talk to Barbara. Because the whole thing is because Jordan Icicle is like the president of, the company that Barbara works in. Pat's whole thing was like, she shouldn't even be going to work because that's where Jordan is. So, so Pat runs down to the job to go save Barbara from Jordan. Courtney then, she's on her way to school. Like, I guess she's trying to like rally the troops, so they can make like an all-on assault against the ISA, because while Courtney was asleep, the staff came to her, and the staff was trying to get her attention. Courtney told the staff, she was like, listen, my mom's mad, we can't go out tonight. And then the staff just got mad and took it upon itself, and the staff dipped. So when Courtney woke up in the morning and the staff was gone, she thought her mom did something to it, but then the mom was like, no. So then when she went to go tell Pat that her mom wants to leave Blue Valley, she also said to Pat, she was like, is the staff at the garage? And Pat was like, no. So now Courtney's freaking out, and she's trying to find the staff. So now Courtney doesn't know what to do regarding the staff situation, and she's freaking out. So earlier, because when we also left last week, Brainwave Senior had just woke up. So Brainwave Senior is he's talking to his son, and come to find out that the effects of like being in the coma, it did affect his mind. His dad, the two of them hugged and embraced. They were talking to each other through each other's thoughts. His dad was like, oh my, you have the same powers that I do. You're a telepath, son, this, that, and the third. But due to the effects of the coma, his dad forgot everything in the past 10 years. Like everything that happened after his wife died, his dad just completely forgot that. So he wasn't aware of anything that happened. And then he was talking to him about his mom. And then while Brainwave was thinking about his wife, Henry was reading his thoughts, and in his thoughts, he was basically talking about Icicle and talking about his mom, and there was a lot of like conflicting thoughts there that Henry thought was really weird. But Henry did have a date, and since his dad basically kept a VHS log of like of all his like of all his misdeeds, Henry went back home. He took the tape around the date that his mom died, and he put the tape in. And when he put the tape in, his dad was on the tape saying that he was with the ISA, the Injustice Society. They were robbing a bank of all places, and in the midst of him robbing the bank, that's where he met Mary. I believe her name was Mary. That's where he met Henry's mom. So the two of them fell in love, and the mom, like Mary, was a positive influence on Brainwave. She was a good person. She had pure thoughts, and she made Brainwave want to be a better person. Because of this, I guess like his position with the ISA, he was considering walking away because he had found love. So like Icicle found out that he was with this Mary girl, and and then he wasn't really happy about it because again, like she was making Brainwave reconsider being a villain. So then he says on the tape that the night that they stormed the JSA and the night that they killed the JSA, he said that it was Icicle who killed Starman, and he knew his wife Mary wasn't gonna be happy about the fact that Starman died because Starman was her brother. And then I was just like, damn. So if Courtney really is Starman's daughter, that means her and Henry are cousins. And I like, this just got awkward real quick. So yeah, so Brainwave's wife was Starman's brother. Brainwave's wife was Starman's sister. So I was like, that's a pretty cool twist. Like I actually like that. I was like, that's actually pretty cool. So then Henry starts freaking out, because he was just like, and because he's like, because of that, your mother wasn't gonna let it go. The fact that Icicle killed her brother. So he was like, Icicle killed your mom, like Jordan killed your mom, and there was nothing I could do. So then Henry got mad. He started freaking out. He like he goes back to the hospital to confront his dad. And when he goes to the hospital, he sees Icicle in the hospital room talking to his dad, because he walked up to his dad and he was just like, hey, it's nice to see that you're up and you're about and everything. And then when he saw him, he was like, Jordan, is that you? Because again, like he lost 10 years of his memory. So he's trying to remember everything. He, obviously he's familiar with Jordan. And then while him and Jordan are having a conversation, the Stargirl staff comes flying through the bedroom, blast Icicle up against the wall, and then started pointing at Brainwave. And then Icicle walked up, he froze the staff powered down. And I was like, that was very stupid by the staff. I was just like, if you had an issue with Brainwave, kill him. You blasted Icicle up against the wall. Keep the pressure going. Like, you should have, like, I don't understand why the staff didn't kill him. But anyway, so Icicle froze the staff. He took the staff. He took Brainwave. And, he was like, yo, we're going to Injustice headquarters. Henry saw the whole thing, and now Henry starts freaking out. So he does the only thing that he can do. He goes and finds Courtney, and he tells Courtney, like, hey, listen, I need to talk to you. When he touched Courtney saw everything that was going through his mind, because apparently Henry's able to project images into people's minds. She knows that Icicle killed her mom. She knows that his dad is awake now. And then she was like, oh shit. She was like, you and I are cousins. And then she hugged him, and Henry was just like, yeah. He was like, it's like, I don't know about all that, but I was like, at least they referenced it, so that was pretty funny. So now, Henry's like, they got my dad, and then, and they got your staff. And then Courtney's like, we got to get my staff back, and we'll help your dad. So then Courtney does the one thing that she shouldn't have did. So she takes Henry and she brings Henry to the cafeteria to talk to the team. And of course, Yolanda wasn't having it. And hell, Rick wasn't having it either. Rick and Henry got into it a little bit. Henry, because he was just like, oh, when I see your dad, I'm gonna kill him. And he was like, you're not gonna touch my father. And he used his mental powers to brain blast Rick across the room. And then And then Yolanda was just like, I told you to stay away from my friends and this, that, and the third. And then Beth was the one, she was like, come on, guys, Courtney, Courtney's mom, is trying to take her away from us. Like, we need to come together. We need to help Courtney. And then Yolanda was like, fine. She was just like, I'm gonna help you only because if I don't, she's like, you're gonna do this whether I help you or not. And I don't trust Henry. So, and somebody needs to watch your back when Henry turns on you. But then she turns to Courtney and she's just like, oh, but because you chose Henry over me, we're not friends anymore. And I'm like, bitch, I mean, first of all, nobody chose Henry. like her emotional instability is like Yolanda is killing me. Like, she's cool 1 minute and then the next she's just like, it's like girl, like, you're overdoing it. Like, there's just like, it's too much drama. Like, she's putting too much drama on everything. So then they all decide to get together, they suit up, and then they go into the tunnels after the JSA. And then Courtney's like, all right, guys, let's split up. She was like, you three go that way, Henry and I'll go this way. And then she's just like, no, I'm not leaving you alone with Henry. I'm like, you just said y'all wasn't friends. I'm like, are y'all friends or not? Because like, I'm gonna need Yolanda to get it together. Like, I'm gonna need Yolanda to make a decision and get it together. Because first of all, like, she lucky Courtney is as passive as she is, because if Yolanda would have said that to anybody else, she was like, we're not friends anymore, that person would be like, well, then give back the suit, bitch. So like, Yolanda needs to tread lightly. So they're going through the tunnels. Beth and Rick end up bumping into Solomon Grundy's chamber. And like I said in an earlier review, once Rick saw Solomon Grundy, he was gonna cut bait and he was gonna go rogue, and he flipped over the hourglass and he tried his best to pry open Solomon Grundy's door, because he was just like, I'm gonna kill this thing because it's the thing that killed my parents. And I felt bad for Beth because she was the one that had to deal with that. The other three, they make their way to the I forgot the man name, King Cobra, the Snake Man, the snake dude. They made their way to his chamber, where he's doing all these experiments. Brainwave's dad is tied up in a chair. Well, not a chair, like a chair. Like, he was on like a flatbed thing. And the snake, the Cobra dude, the snake dude, the dragon dude, Dragon King, that was his name. Dragon King had him tied up, and he was performing experiments on him. So in a weird way, I think they brainwashed Brainwave, just to get him to conform to, to Injustice Society rules, which is very weird. So then the three of them, so Yolanda, Henry tried to talk to Yolanda at one point. He apologized for, for what he did. He said he wishes he could take it back. And I'm sorry, but I still don't think Henry did it. Like, I honestly still feel like Cindy was the one that did that shit. But anyway, so the three of them, like, they're peeking around the corner. He's like, oh, there's my dad. And Courtney's like, oh, there's my staff. And then Cindy, because remember, Cindy was locked up in the chamber room with, but it has like the seeing eye thing where you can look out the door. Cindy's like directly behind them, watching them sneak around the door. And then she was just like, Dad, there they are. There's that bitch, kill him. She was like, let me out so I can kill him. So then, like, Dragon King sees him. He sicks the minions on him. They all get into one big gigantic fight. While they're all fighting, Cindy's screaming at the top of her lungs to be let out of the cage. Obviously the dad didn't do it. Her dad ended up fighting Stargirl one-on-one. And then during the fight, Yolanda got the staff back to Courtney. And then during the fight, Dragon King took his mask, his Cobra Commander mask off, and then we saw like his real face and his real form, and then everybody got scared and screeched, and I think the staff got scared too and blasted Dragon King right in the face. So now all of his minions are incapacitated, Dragon King's laid out on the floor, and Cindy's still locked up in the damn room. So then everybody's like, yo, let's get out of here, because Henry tried to talk to his dad, but by then it was too late because Dragon King had already put the brain manipulation on him. So Brainwave is now once again a part of the forces of evil. And Henry was like, yo, they got to my dad. I can't get through to him. So the three of them was like, yo, let's just dip. Eventually the minions ended up running up on Rick and Beth. And because Beth can't fight, she was begging Rick to, like, yo, she's like, let's get out of here. And then Rick was like, fine. But he was like, I'll be back, Grundy. So all five of them meet up. They're trying to escape the caverns. They go to a spot where there were like bars that were preventing them from getting out. So they try to like, they like Brainwave and Rick together end up like prying the bars open. Everybody goes through the bars and except Brainwave, and then his dad shows up. So his dad ended up closing the bars again. So now the entire team is on one side of the bars. Henry's on the other side of the bars with his dad. Him and his dad have a conversation, and he's just like, he's like, Dad, I know there's good in you. The JSA, I mean, the ISA killed Mom. Icicle killed Mom. And he was like, no, Henry, I killed your mother. And I was just like, that doesn't make any sense because he flat out said on the videotape, Jordan killed your mother. And now he's telling Henry he killed his mother. So unless due to like the mind manipulation, unless they brainwashed Brainwave and made him kill his own wife, that didn't make any sense of why he would say he killed his mom, especially because when Henry was reading his thoughts and he said that he found his wife dead in the pool, he flat out said her body was ice cold. So unless because he was brainwashed, he killed his wife, and then when he snapped out of the brainwashing, he assumed that Icicle did it. I don't know. That whole thing was just weird to me, but I guess it don't matter at this point. So Henry and his dad had a conversation. Henry tried to talk his pops down. It didn't work. And Brainwave was like, well, son, if you're not with me, you're against me, just like your mom, and you will suffer the same fate. And Brainwave used his power to cave the roof in, and he killed Henry. And when Henry died, I was like, oh shit. Because I guess, I guess it makes sense because Brainwave and Brainwave Jr., they were way too powerful. Like, you can't keep them on the show. Like, there's a reason why Brainwave was in a coma for so long, because this dude, and I said all along, Brainwave should be the leader of the ISA, but if Dragon King found a way to control him, then I guess that's why he wasn't. So Henry dead now, but before he died, he apologized to Yolanda again, and he told Courtney, he was just like, yo, don't lose hope, don't lose hope. So Henry gone, Brainwave walked away, and now the kids are just standing there like all shook up, and they don't know what to do. When Pat went to Barbara's office to try to talk to her, Barbara ended up emailing the guy who is presumed to be Courtney's father. And she sent him a picture of Starman, and she was like, if this is you, we need to talk. It's about your daughter. Pat showed up, and then, Pat showed up. He was like, why are you Googling Starman? And he was like, why are you even at work? You should get as far away from here as possible. And then she was like, I'm here to get real answers, Pat, not the lies that you've been telling. And then at that point, Icicle and his parents went into Barbara's office. And, they saw Pat, they were all talking or whatever. And then Icicle and his parents, they were talking in their native tongue. And then they were just like, all right, we'll let you two lovebirds, continue talking and we'll leave. So when they left, Barbara was just like, yo, I recorded their entire situation in their native tongue, and let's go someplace where we can translate the shit. Pat was just like, he was like, that was a real good idea to record them talking. But he was like, why did you do that? Because she was just like, between you, Courtney, the Starman shit, and then Jordan, she was like, I basically just want real answers. So if what you're saying is true, we're going to find out right now. So when her phone translated the conversation, it was his parents saying to each other, oh, you see how Jordan looks at Barbara, he really likes Barbara. Once the machine's finished, it won't matter, whatever. And then they were just like, what machine? And then she was like, what machine, Pat? And he was like, I don't know anything about a machine. And I'm like, so we just going to gloss over the fact that, like I've been saying from the beginning, Icicle's basically making a play at Barbara, and Pat was just not going to mention that. Like, Pat just wasn't going to bring that up. So I was like, okay, whatever. And that was pretty much it, and the two of them, are trying to, so now Barbara is kind of like trending more in the Pat direction of these people are evil and we got to do something about it. And then finally, when Barbara emailed Courtney's dad, we saw on the computer that she actually got a response email. So I'm 50-50 on whether or not that's actually her dad or not. But they're kind of making it seem like it is, Starman is her dad now, but I'm still holding on to my prediction, and Starman's not her daddy. So that was it. Like I said, not sure what the coming attractions are going to be, but this was episode 10, so we got 3 more, 11, 12, 13, 3 more in the pipeline. and then we'll I said we'll conclude this show, which is getting really good, and I'm really enjoying how the whole situation's playing out. Rest in peace, Henry. Henry's not gone. They're gonna take Henry's body back to Dragon King. Dragon King's gonna restore his body. Hell, the man's been doing experiments on his daughter, for Christ's sake. So he gonna bring Henry back to life. They're gonna control Henry too, and Henry gonna be a part of he's gonna be a part of the junior ISA. So that was it. Leave a comment, like and or subscribe. Click the notification bell so you can get my Agents of Shield and my Doom Patrol reviews. And, when all that stuff's coming up, let me know in the comment section what you think's gonna happen with the ISA. What's going on? Is Starman really Courtney's dad or not? And we'll talk about it. So for episode 10 of Stargirl, take care, guys. The Icon signing off. And I'm out this bitch.